I want to be with Irv, but then a part of me is like, you know what? I think I've outgrown you.
The women that you're with, you refer to them as scallywags.
Is there a surviving Irv Gotti documentary coming out soon? His ex-wife is finally speaking out, sharing her side of the story about how Irv's obsession with Ashanti tore their family apart. I mean, have you seen how many interviews Gotti has done about his so-called relationship with Ashanti? He constantly brought up her name and lost it when she ignored him, refusing to even entertain a professional relationship. Now, Deb is revealing that his toxic attitude and fixation on Ashanti deeply affected their marriage, and she paid the price for loving him and trying to hold their family together. Let's break it all down.
There's no boundaries. Like, he comes, we're there, we're available. He's living two lives, and for me, it doesn't make sense.
You have found that woman. It might not have lasted, but you have
She's
found...
definitely a special one, but she wasn't special enough for me to stop.
Irv Gotti and Deb Lorenzo divorced in 2013 after a decade together. Many people questioned why Deb stayed so long with a man who treated her so poorly. He openly disrespected her in front of their children, mocked her education, and even suggested her daughter should surpass her. But according to Deb, things weren't always like that. When they married in 2003, she expected Irv to be busy traveling, closing deals, and making money while she focused on raising their children. What she didn't expect was the constant stream of other women he entertained throughout their marriage. To make matters worse, Irv didn't see anything wrong with his actions. In his mind, Deb was delusional for thinking she could be the only woman to ever satisfy him.
Still married, but we were separated when they were dating. I was used to it from the beginning, like him going and traveling. I just wasn't used to the women. That was like new, like, where did these hoes come from?
You know, I think...
You wanted people to forgive you when you do stuff?
Don't talk about the cheat. I'm a good chip off the old block, aside from the infidelities. You know, in my crazy mind, I thought that was life. This is my wife, this is my family, but this bitch is here to suck my
The audacity. Their relationship was a complete mess, and anyone who watched Gotti's Way back in 2007 got a glimpse of what Deb went through. But despite everything, she stayed, holding on to the hope that Irv would change. She had actually tried to leave him when she discovered his infidelity, but their kids, especially their eldest, Sonny, didn't want their parents to split. Irv was a devoted father who had even adopted Deb's daughter as his own, treating her no differently than his biological children. In fact, she didn't even realize he wasn't her biological dad until she heard it from someone outside the family. But their bond remained unchanged. Even with his constant travels, Irv made it a priority to be home on weekends, spending time with the kids, attending school events, and being present in their lives. But beyond that, he had no real interest in maintaining his marriage. Unfortunately, his weekend visits gave Deb false hope. Each time he returned, she convinced herself their marriage could still be saved. As for the women, they came and went. None seemed to hold his attention for long. That is, until Ashanti. As the rising star of Erdering, Ashanti was dominating the charts and securing brand deals left and right. Irv couldn't stop bragging about their success, while Deb was left at home raising their kids. Over time, he started spending more nights in the studio and less time as a full-time father. Then the rumors started. People were whispering that Irv and Ashanti's relationship was more than just business. When asked about it on The Wendy Williams Show, Irv denied that Ashanti was a homewrecker, claiming they only got together after he and Deb had already separated.
Why is it that if a man gets married, a man and woman get married, if they're separated, they're not gonna be together. They're not staying together. I can't go mess with other girls until I sign a divorce paper? Why?
No, yes you can.
Okay, then what's the problem?
Deb and Irv's relationship only started to fall apart when Irv and Ashanti grew too close for comfort. Things took a turn for the worse when Ashanti ended their connection and moved on with Nelly. This was something Irv couldn't get over. And because Ashanti wouldn't even acknowledge him, he allegedly began venting his anger toward his wife, Deb. Irv didn't hold back in expressing his feelings about Ashanti, and his behavior towards Deb became increasingly disrespectful, especially in front of their children, who saw everything unfold. It seemed as though Deb became his emotional outlet, where he took out all his frustrations. Adding to the tension was the fact that Deb and the kids were entirely dependent on Irv for their financial and emotional needs. Deb didn't have a steady job or enough money to start fresh or move out. Irv, fully aware of this, used it to his advantage. Before Irv publicly confirmed his romantic involvement with Ashanti, People assumed she might be seeing Ja Rule or Chisana. But when Irv admitted to millions that he was in love with Ashanti, it felt like he had completely opened the floodgates for the world to see.
It's the fear, and like, can I survive on my own? I feel stuck a little bit, and I've been like this for a while. I stayed this long because I was afraid. You know, when we first separated, I really thought, Irv would come back home. I thought we would work things out. And then as time goes on, you see it's not gonna work.
Made those records. You know what I'm saying? Like, she wrote them, but she wrote them with the help of me telling her what to write. And all of y'all, whoever knows me, I don't lie. I'm not a liar. I'm gonna spritz it up and jazz it up. Is this the camera?
Yes.
Ashanti, you cannot spritz it up. You cannot jazz it up. The minute you put some spritzy and jazz it up, it's not a cover. So when it's not a cover, now it has to come back to me to clear it.
Irv also became more open about his past relationships with other women in Hollywood, even claiming that he was the one who gave Steffens the nickname Superhead. He made it clear that he felt entitled to cheat with as many women as he wanted, because, in his mind, it was all part of the game. It was one thing for Deb to tolerate Irv's cheating when it was only known by a few people, but once he openly discussed it with the world and continued to do so in front of their family and kids, Deb knew their marriage was beyond repair. She packed her things, left, and never looked back. In hindsight, that was the best decision she could have made, as Irv never stopped his behavior. At 48, he was still talking about wanting a freaky ride or die who would have his children and let him do whatever he pleased. He remained obsessed with Ashanti until his death. Now, people have a lot to say about what Deb has shared. Irv Gotti managed to beat the feds in a $1 million money laundering case, but instead of sharing that story, he chose to focus on his past affair with Ashanti from 20 years ago. They often say, women act on emotion, yet an emotional man will do 32 interviews about a woman who hasn't even bothered to say a word about him. But I'm curious, what do you think about all of this? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button because the drama is far from over. I'll see you in the next video.